Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Dead End Kids 1938. I hated this flick. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. That's why I put RANT in the title. Jeff Jaffe reminded me. Thank you, Jeff Jaffe. Little Tough Guy is a 1938 U.S. crime film. I'd more accurately describe it as a juvenile delinquency film. The Dead End Kids, Little Tough Guys, that starred several of the Dead End Kids. In the follow-up films, the studio began using the group name The Little Tough Guys, and later the Dead End Kids and Little Tough Guys. This was the first of several films and serials that Universal made using several of the kids whom they borrowed from Warner Brothers. Little Tough Guy is in the public domain. That's why I watched it on the Cult Cinema Classics channel for free. I just had to sit through a ton of ads. Just like watching Tubi. Little Tough Guy is a 1983 U.S. crime film. Oh, we already went through that. Let's get to the plot, shall we? Johnny Boylan's father was sentenced to death for a crime that he was never fully proven to have committed. Well, I guess he had a lousy public attorney. He belongs to some to some union that's picketing, and he gets blamed for murder somehow. He and his family moved to a poorer section of the east side in New York City. His sister Kay dances in a burlesque theater, and she is fired from her job. Her former fiance, Paul Wilson, still cares for her and wants to help her, but she avoids him out of shame. I'd be ashamed too. Johnny tries to enlist his fellow newsboy pals to help prove his father's innocence. They try to convince the judge, but are unsuccessful. In frustration, Johnny tosses a brick through the judge's car window, which begins his life of crime. He enlists his friend Pig to help him rob a drugstore. They are subsequently chased by the police and hide out. The cops find them, and Pig begs Johnny to surrender. Pig leaves the store, and he is shot dead by police. And there you have it. Little Tough Guy. The film was released on DVD on July 22nd, 2003. I like the Dead End Kids better. And the other movie that I saw, I can't remember the name of it. Little Tough Guy, 1938, 1 hour, 26 minutes. It gets pretty high, 6.1 out of 10. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10, 243 ratings, so it's even more obscure than the last movie I did. The Karate Man recommendation. After his father is sentenced to death for accidentally killing a cop, Johnny's family is left to fight for survival. His sister becomes a burlesque performer for Monday. While Johnny joins a local gang, and Johnny turns to a life of street crime. All right, here's a more flattering review from Wes Connors. Billy Halop leads the Dead End Kids to Universal. More like this. Kid Dynamite, Spooks Run Wild, Neath Brooklyn Bridge, and Fog Island. None of which... Well, I've seen Spooks Run Wild. So I've got to find out which Dead End Kids were in Spooks Run Wild and the more recent one that I saw. So I can list all their names in the description. The ones that were in all three or parts of three. Featured in Film Breaks, The Dead End Kids, 1999. Release date, July 22nd, 1938. United States, country of origin, U.S. Language, English, also known as Ungdomsligan. Filming locations, Universal Studios, 100 Universal City Plaza, Universal City, California, USA. Production company, Universal Pictures. Runtime, 1 hour, 26 minutes or 86 minutes. So decent runtime. Color is no color, black and white. Glorious black and white, we might say. Aspect ratio 1.37 to 1. And here's the featured review. Bill Halop leads the Dead End Kids to Universal. That's an IMDb review from Wes Connors, who gives it an 8 out of 10. A much higher rating than mine, and also a higher rating than the average IMDb rating. So this will be interesting to see what they say. If I can pull it up. It's spinning around and not doing anything again. Oh, there it goes. I stand corrected. All it takes is patience with my Chromebook here. IMDb takes forever to load. All right. So the IMDb title is Billy Halop leads the Dead End Kids to Universal. That's the title of the review by Wes Connors. Dated April 13th, 2009. 10 people found it helpful and 1 said it was unhelpful. All right. In their third team appearance, the Dead End Kids are Billy Halop, Johnny Boylan, Huntz Hall as Pig, Gabriel Dell as String, Bernard Punsly as Ape, Hal E. Hallie Chester as Dopey, and David Gorcey as Sniper. After this film, Universal Pictures, the third of several studios to cash in on the kids' popularity, adopted Little Tough Guys as a series co-title, possibly in case United Artists or Warner Brothers legally challenged their use of Dead End Kids. In this film, Little Tough Guy refers to Mr. Halop only, the leader of the pack, who later was in, I think, Universal was only able to obtain 4 original Dead Enders for their first outing, so substituting for Bobby Jordan and Leo Gorcey and making their first appearances as members of the expanding Bowery team are Hallie Chester and David Gorcey, Leo's brother. Leo Gorcey was in the last Dead End Kids movie that I saw. Both would continue with the group. Brad Packer, Jackie Cyril as Cyril Gerard, who not only joins but also takes over as Little Tough Guy's leader, would only make a couple of peripheral appearances. Herein, his snobbishness balances the grim and gritty quite nicely. Although you wouldn't expect it, this is one of the best little films in the whole Dead End East Side Bowery Kid cash. If this is the best, I hate to see the less than best, but I probably will. The plot is fairly typical but handled well. Halop's teen angst turns to anger after his father is wrongly arrested for killing a policeman. Following a miscarriage of justice, Halop soothes his sorrows by descending into a dead-end lifestyle. Halop has a firm grasp of this material, and he performs the melodrama with his usual expertise. Another cast member turning in an excellent performance is a matronly Marjorie Main as Mrs. Boylan. A keen actress, Miss Main gives her mother character an almost unseemly underbelly. Note how Main's theatrics fit perfectly with the lines her children address her with. Daughter Helen Parrish, as Kay Boylan says, "Oh, Mom, quit acting." And Halop tells Maine, "Gee, Mom, you look just like a movie star." So Maine plays her part as a failed movie star, lamenting her age and poverty. The 1930s New York City interior and exterior sets are terrific. Halop says, "I got to keep moving." And director Harold Young fills the running time with a lot of movement. There are people everywhere. Both Young and photographer Elwood Brettle excel. Miss Parrish and Robert Wilcox as Paul Wilson are sweet in the romantic adult roles. There are a myriad of extras, with Richard Seltzer as Bud among the worst dressed background kids. Later, Mr. Seltzer became top 10 fashion conscious Mr. Blackwell. Little tough guy, 7/22/38. Harold Young, Billy Halop, Jackie Searle, and Marjorie Main. 8 out of 10 stars. And shall we go down my list? Oh, there's the White Warrior. Sorry, I must have spun around in my chair, shaking the camera again. So Little Tough Guy is a boring film. There isn't much going on. I didn't really have any sympathy for any of the characters in this, except for maybe the girlfriend at the end. She was all right. Going down my list, I've got Deadly Target, The Gardener of Deadly Target, 1994, The Gardener of God, 2010, and then Bad Blood, aka Viper, 1994, another Karate Man, Lorenzo Lamas. And then I've got East Side Kids, 1940. So those are the next 4 on my list. I just thought I'd run that by you. Now let me cross-reference Spooks Run Wild with Little Tough Guy and the other movie that I can't remember, but I just saw. And we'll see how many of the Dead End Kids are on there. Or is it East Side Kids, or is it Little Tough Guys? I always get confused. And then there was the copycat Dead End Kids. A lot of it is on, a lot of this stuff is on public domain. You can see it on Alpha Video if you're into this kind of stuff. Anyways, there's my make way for Steve Hercules Reeves, the White Warrior poster. The first video I did, I got 3 comments about my movie poster. Now nobody cares. So that's my prop for all my videos now. I'm supposedly supposed to get another one tomorrow. I called Deacon Albert at my parish, and he says, The rectory is not open to the public. Only teachers allowed. Yeah, I figured he was going to say that. I guess I'm going to have to sleep in his adoration chapel. And then if I snore too loud, I'll just take a nap in my car. Let's see if Knights of Columbus will allow me to do that. Because I know the dark code to the adoration chapel. I just can't hook up my. I'm gonna have to return my my sleep apnea machine because there's no way to hook it up at night in my car or in the adoration chapel. And then I can get $15 membership at Planet Fitness close to my work, and I'll just shower there every day. Why not? I think I can do it. But of course, I'll call Catholic Charities first. I don't know if they can hook me up with a place that has parking for my car, but we'll give it a shot. The 63-year-old Chinese lady wouldn't even open up the door. She was talking through her door, and she was asking me who it is. I said, I'm Ben Parkinson. I'm the guy who's been emailing you about the 2 rooms for rent. And she said, I'm not renting anything. So either she's lying or her neighbor is lying. And so I went to the dental office. I asked a bunch of Chinese people if they know any rooms for rent. The front desk lady said, go use Craigslist. That's the same thing my Chinese former coworker told me on LinkedIn. Go use Craigslist. Well, it's too expensive. I don't know. So the lady who does my teeth cleaning, she's a little bit more open, receptive to helping me. She said, oh, I'll ask my friends and I'll call you. We have your phone number in our database. I said, call me anytime. So I've got a couple of people in mind at church that I want to ask. The leader of the Filipino group and the former leader of the Legion of Mary at my church. I think I'll have better luck with those two if I can find them tomorrow. So I'm going to give that one a shot. The Greedy Read developer is looking at Chinese newspaper and Craigslist for a roommate kind of situation, which sounds reasonable to me. I just want a place to sleep and shower and maybe have a little internet, microwave action, maybe a stove, but not an oven, just a stove top. But if I don't have a stove top, I can always use my burners and my crock pot and my little tiny toaster oven. It don't matter. It's all the same. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review. I really don't have much to say about Little Tough Guy. It's just a Depression era kind of thing. The ends justify the means because his union striking father was somehow innocent of murder, but we don't know how. That part's never explained. Then he gets a lousy attorney, and he gets the electric chair. Then the Dead End Boys descend into a life of crime because it pays more than selling newspapers, I guess. All of a sudden, they get fancy clothes, and then the cops are closing in on them, and Pig supposedly dies, but I bet you we see him in other movies. I think he was in Spooks Run Wild, if I'm not mistaken. So there you have it. Got a little chocolate on my chin from my ice cream topping. Cool. So another Dead End Kids. I've got East End Kids coming down the pike. And I think that'll be my fourth Dead End Kids movie that I've seen so far in my 54 years of experience watching movies and whatnot. Probably not that long. Maybe 50 or 49. Something like that. All right. So that's it for tonight. Monday, I'm going to try to get 3 under my belt. I've given up canvassing for another illegal in-law unit. It's hopeless. Go ringing 500 doorbells. You get a lead, and then they don't even answer the door. It's so frustrating. And I've been doing it for a month too, so I've pretty much given up on that approach. And now I'm just going to focus on church friends, Catholic charities, and or snoring in the adoration chapel at night and taking turns between sleeping in my car and sleeping in the adoration chapel. That ought to be fun. I should be able to save a ton of money on living expenses anyway, if Knights of Columbus will allow me to do it. They don't catch on to my homeless situation here coming up in November. So hope for the best, but even the worst could be a blessing in disguise if I can save up a ton of money in the process, waiting for my my January $200,000 payout. So that's the plan. We go from plan A to plan B. If something isn't working, then we would try something else. If all else fails, try something different. That's what I say. So lesson learned. We'll keep that in mind the next time I have to look for a new place. And cool. Wish me luck. If I end up becoming homeless, it's going to be tough for me to make these videos. I might have to go to the library, watch movies, and make videos there. So that's a possibility. we're trying to work with this untenable situation here, trying to find a room to rent, and it's almost impossible. So it's going to take a miracle, but we'll just cross that bridge when it comes. Laters.